Here is one important note which is telling you about the cells. You have seen that buildings are made of bricks. Similarly, the bodies of living organisms are made of tiny units called the cells. As the building is made up of number of bricks, in the same way, the living organism is made up of very tiny units called the cells. Cells can be seen only under the microscope. Cells are the basic structural functional unit of life. As cells are very minute, very small, they can only be seen with the help of microscope. Some organisms are made up of only one cell. The cell is enclosed by a thin outer boundary called the cell membrane. Most cells have a distinct centrally located spherical structure called the nucleus. The nucleus is surrounded by a jelly-like substance called the cytoplasm. So in this section we are getting very few information about the cells. That cells are the building blocks of our life. A body is manufactured, or we can say established, on very tiny part that are known as cells. Cell is enclosed by a very thin membrane that is known as cell membrane, and one spherical like structure is being at the middle in the peripheral, so it is known as nucleus, and this fluid, it is filled with jelly like fluid that is known as cytoplasm. So it is, they are telling you about the cells here. Another box is telling you that besides sleep, photosynthesis also takes place in other green parts of the plant, in green stems and green branches. As photosynthesis can be performed only by the green parts of the plant, so in the same way, besides leaves, green stem and green branches also perform photosynthesis. The desert plants have scale or spine like leaves to reduce loss of water by transpiration. In desert plants, what happens? The structure of the plants is defined with the help of spines and scale. What do these spines do? These spines prevent the water from water loss. These plants have green stems which carry out photosynthesis. As in these plants, the leaves have been modified into spines, so the photosynthesis process is performed by the green stem. During the process, oxygen is released. The presence of starch in leaves indicate the occurrence of photosynthesis. Starch is also a carbohydrate. So during the process, as I told you that in photosynthesis, oxygen is also released as a product. So the presence of starch in leaves indicate that the occurrence of photosynthesis. Starch is also a carbohydrate. So the food product that is released by in process of photosynthesis, that is a carbohydrate, is also known as a starch. You often see slimy green patches in ponds or stagnant water bodies. These are generally formed by the growth of organism called algae. Can you guess why algae are green in color? They contain chlorophyll which give them the green color. Algae can also prepare their own food by the photosynthesis. You would have seen in the water bodies or the stagnant water that a kind of layer is being deposited on its surface. That is green in color, and that particular living organism is known as algae, and these algae are green in color because they contain chlorophyll. That's why algae can also perform photosynthesis. Now, synthesis of plant food other than carbohydrate. You have just learned the plant synthesize carbohydrate through the process of photosynthesis. As I told you, the product of photosynthetic equation is the carbohydrate. So the carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. These are used to synthesize other components of food such as protein and fats. As the carbohydrate contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, so these carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are also used to prepare, or we can say make, other nutrients like protein and fats. But proteins are nitrogenous substance which contain nitrogen. From where do the plants obtain nitrogen? As proteins prepared from the hydrogen, carbon and oxygen, but it also contain nitrogenous substance. So how do these proteins get nitrogen? Recall that nitrogen is present in abundance in gaseous form in the air. As you all know that nitrogen is present in our atmosphere, that is the 78% in our atmosphere. So however, plants cannot absorb nitrogen in this form, but this nitrogen cannot be absorbed by the plants in its molecular form. Soil has certain bacteria that convert gaseous nitrogen into a usable form and release it into the soil. So nitrogen is being converted by some kind of bacteria which are present in soil in other forms. These are absorbed by the plants along with water. So when these nitrogen is mixed with the soil, so in other form it is being absorbed by the plants. Also you might have seen farmers adding fertilizer rich in nitrogen to the soil. In this way the plants fulfill their requirement of nitrogen along with the other constituents. Plants can then synthesize protein and vitamin. So when this nitrogen is being mixed in the soil, so some kind of bacteria are present in the soil like rhizobium bacteria which do nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation means converting of nitrogen into other form so that plant can absorb it and do the manufacturing of proteins and fats. Other modes of nutrition in plants. So first one was your autotrophic mode of nutrition. Now other modes of nutrition are also done by plants. There are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. They cannot synthesize food. How do they survive and from where do they derive nutrition? As we have studied that only green plants have the tendency to perform photosynthesis. But the plants, those who are not green, so how they prepare their food and how they survive? Like humans and animals, such plants depend on the food produced by other plants. Like human beings, some kind of plants are there which are dependent on other plants for their food. They use the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. And which kind of nutrition they opt, that is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Look at figure 1.5. Do you see yellow wiry branch structure twining around the stem and branches of a tree? This is a plant called Cuscuta. In Hindi we call amarvel. It does not have chlorophyll. It takes ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. The plant on which it is supported or it climbs is called the host, since it deprives the host of valuable nutrients. So you can see here one picture. In this you can see some yellow like structure is there. This is known as Cuscuta, and this Cuscuta in Hindi we call it amarvel. It is not green in color. So what it do, it take the nourishment from the plant or tree on which it has climbed. In this way it is taking its food or it is driving its nutrition. That's why we can say that Cuscuta is a very good example of heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Cuscuta is also called the parasite. As parasite, why it is called? Because it is taking its nutrition from the other organism and living also. Living also means taking support of other. That's why Cuscuta is called the parasite. Are we and other animals also kind of parasite? You should think about it and discuss with me, or we can discuss with your teacher. So like Cuscuta, we are also a kind of parasites. This we have to think. Have you seen or heard of plants that can eat animals? There are a few plants which can trap insects and digest them. Is it not amazing? Such plants may be green or of some other color. So have you ever heard about the plants that are eating the insects or that feed on insects? These plants are called as insectivorous plants because as they feed on insects, so that's why they are called as insectivorous plants or pitcher plant. Inside the pitcher there are hair which entangle the trapped insect. The lid closes and the insect is trapped. The insect is killed by the juices secreted in the pitcher and its nutrients are absorbed. So how did insectivorous plants take insect or eat insect to fulfill their nutrition? Firstly, the lid, it consists of a lid like structure. So when any insect sit over it, it gets stuck here, and as the insect enter, this lid closes and inside some juices is secreted which kill the insect. In this way the pitcher plant take its nourishment from the insect. As it is eating insect, it is also called as insectivorous plants. Is it possible that such plants do not get all required nutrients from the soil in which they grow? So why do they feed on insect? Because these kind of plants do not get all the nutrients from the soil. So to fulfill their nourishment or fulfill the demands of other nutrients, they feed on insect. Saprotrophs. You might have seen packets of mushroom sold in vegetable market. You may have also seen fluffy umbrella-like patches growing in moist soil or on rotting wood during rainy season. Let us find out what type of nutrients they need to survive and from where they get them. You would have seen some kind of plants are there which is available in the market in packets, but their color is white. They are not green, like mushroom. So how these mushroom get their nutrition as they are not green in color? So packets of mushroom, a mushroom growing on decaying material. So how they take their nourishment on the dead decaying parts, that decaying matter. They grow near the decaying matter and take its nourishment. That's why they are known as saprotroph, and they show the mode of nutrition, that is saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Such organisms which show saprotrophic mode of nutrition are called saprotrophs. So that's why the organism which take their nourishment from the dead decaying matter are known as saprotrophs, and the mode of nutrition is saprotrophic. Fungi also grow on pickles, leather, clothes and other articles that are left in hot and humid weather for long time. During the rainy season, they spoil many things. Ask your parents about the menace of fungi in your house. So fungi is also a kind of saprotroph because it also grow on some article which are kept from longer time. So it also show the mode of nutrition, that is saprotrophic nutrition. The fungal spores are generally present in there. When they land on wet and warm things, they germinate and grow. Now can you figure out how we can protect our things from getting spoiled? So if anything is getting spoiled, that is just because of fungi which is showing a saprotrophic nutrition. Some organisms live together and share both shelter and nutrient. This relationship is called symbiosis. Here is another thing which is telling you that some of the organisms living in pairs, or we can say they are more than one or more than two, they are living together and providing benefit to each other. This relationship is known as symbiosis. For example, certain fungi live inside the roots of plants. The plants provide nutrient to the fungus, and in return the fungus provide water and certain nutrients. For example, certain fungi live in the roots of plants. What they do, plant is providing them shelter, and what does that fungi do? That fungus help in providing water to the plants. In this way, they both are providing benefit to each other. So we can say fungi and plants both are showing the relationship of symbiosis.